Hi and welcome back to the Weber home. Today I want to take you on a tour of my canning cabinet. So I grew up doing water bath canning with my mom and my sister. We had a huge garden. It was bigger than our house, and we would can things like tomato sauce and marinara and soup, pickles, jams, jellies, apple butter, all of those things that you can do in water bath canning. But since I have gotten older and married, I have learned how to pressure can. I've learned a lot through YouTube and then through some people that I knew how to pressure can. I asked a lot of questions, and so I like canning. That's one of my hobbies. It's one of the ways that I help feed my family. It's one of the ways that helps us since I am a stay-at-home mom and we live off of just my husband's income, besides what little bit that I can bring in online. Then we live a very frugal lifestyle, and so canning helps with that. So if this is something that would interest you, make sure you keep watching and like and subscribe, follow along, because I'm going to teach you all of the tips and tricks and what I know. So this is my cabinet. I got this big cabinet off of Facebook Marketplace, and I knew as soon as I saw it that it was going to be perfect for my canned goods. So let me go ahead and get started here, and I will open it up and show you. I have so many different things I have canned. So I have little labels here instead of picking up all of the jars. I can show you. I have peach jam. I have watermelon syrup, which is great for putting in lemonade. This is a type, I've labeled it as berry juice. So I have some Russian Ukrainian friends who make this. This is like a berry tea that they serve, and she told me how to make it, and I actually made it and canned it. So I have some of that. I have cranberry apple jam, cranberry apple sauce. This is a random jar somebody gave me. And some elderberry powder that's also randomly kind of stuffed in there. I have strawberry lemonade syrup. If you want some strawberry lemonade pancakes, that's super good. And basically all it is just like a jam, but it's just, you don't put all the pectin in it, it doesn't set. It's just like a syrup consistency. So I have strawberry lemonade syrup and cherry lime syrup. Cherry lime jam, you can see I did both. This is set, and not this container, that one back there. This one, cherry lime syrup. It's thinner. That's all it is. I have triple berry jam, blueberry plum jam, blueberry pear sauce, and strawberry pear sauce. So both of my girls really like to eat applesauce and pear sauce, and we go through quite a bit of it. And it's such a simple thing to make. And so I have strawberry pear sauce, blueberry pear sauce, and we will eat that consistently. This is applesauce, lightly sweetened applesauce. My chicken was here. This says chicken because this whole shelf was chicken, but we ate that much chicken. And so right now chicken's just over there, and I need to relabel this. So I have some lightly sweetened applesauce, some honey, garlic, carrots. Oh, those look good. I got some parsley and some garlic salt in there. This is venison bone broth. And of course, my chicken. And if you are like, wait, you can can your own meat? Yes, go back and watch my tutorial on my page on how to make your own home canned chicken. And I also have a series on how to use it. And then we have loads and loads of cranberry juice because we love it. So once I figured out how to make cranberry juice, which is super simple, we stopped buying it. And so in the winter time, when the cranberries aren't on sale, I buy a ton of them and I make a ton of juice, and we just drink off of it all year long instead of buying cranberry juice. Because it's so simple to make. I have plenty of jars, obviously. I literally have probably twice this many jars, and half of them don't have food in them yet. So plenty of jars, plenty of supplies. It just takes a little bit of time, and I like it so much better because I know what's in it. I know there's no rotten cranberries. I can sort through it. I can use my raw natural cane sugars, so it's better, and then it's not filled with all these preservatives, and we love it. Plus you can eat all the berries at the end, so bonus. So I have more cranberry juice down there, And if you're wondering why some of these look different colors, there are different color jars. I have some light pink jars, I have regular jars, I have blue jars. It's all the same thing, it just looks different because they're different color jars. And then I have pumpkin. So all of that is pumpkin. I thought I had more over there, but I'm looking and I don't. So that's all the pumpkin that I have left. I did it in chunks so that it would make sure to get cooked all the way through and it wasn't too thick. This was my first time canning pumpkin and I was super excited about it. So if you remember me telling you guys about all of the pumpkins that I got from my church and how I canned some and I froze some and then I threw some out in the backyard, and that's how I have my volunteer pumpkin plants this year. That is that pumpkin. So we have eaten quite a bit of it. Pumpkin bread, pumpkin pancakes, and waffles, and things like that. And so that will last probably a good while, unless I have a ton more pumpkins this year. This would probably last us through the year. My husband is not super pumpkin flavored lover, but I like pumpkin, especially pumpkin bread. But this will be plenty to last us for a while, and that is from that pumpkin. So that was everything in this cabinet. Now we're gonna go on to this one little skinny middle cabinet, and then we'll do that side first. But let me show you this one. So up here at the top, I have some dehydrated goods. This is actually honey fermented garlic I have going there. Let's see. That is parsley. This is basil. This is dandelions I dehydrated. Those are carrot tops. This is oregano. I have mint. I have rosemary. I have celery and green peppers. What else do I have? I have some wild onion back here. More basil. That's basil from last fall. That's wild onion tops. That's parsley. These are tomatoes that I dehydrated from my garden last year. Actually, no, I think those were from my mother-in-law's garden. I didn't have a ton of tomatoes last year. So that's what I have on that shelf. Loads of dehydrated goods and herbs. And I really, really hope to expand that because those are so good. Making my own seasonings, drying my own herbs. I love all of that. Next, I have this shelf, which is like kind of just an overflow shelf, I would say. Oh yeah, that's actually what I labeled it, overflow section. Look at me. And so I have like some sweet potato chunks here, and what I did was I put these in like a simple syrup. So there's just some sweet potatoes. This is sweet and sour chicken. It's got some, it looks kind of funky in the bottom, but that's just because of the way it's stacked. It's got pineapple and chicken and peppers and such. That looks like a blueberry pear sauce, apple butter, another blueberry pear sauce, and applesauce. And yeah, I have some random stuff sitting up here too. This is lavender from the garden. I did some whole pieces of lavender because I really want to make those in some candles sometime soon. And then I have some seasonings and stuff from the farmer's market. Some cinnamon sticks. And these, I am obsessed with these. Roasted garlic and red pepper. These are delicious. I love these. So yeah, that was just some random stuff sitting up there that I really don't know why it's sitting up there, but it's been sitting up there. And then I have some meat. And so what I did was kind of all the way across that one shelf was like my meat. So I have some ground lamb. I have some teriyaki chicken. And why this is teriyaki is like, it was pre-seasoned chicken breasts from Aldi that I just went ahead and canned. I bought them because they were 50% off. I don't typically buy them. And this was one of the first times I had canned meat and I wasn't sure if it would overflow or not. So I did such a smaller amount and not realizing it would shrink. And so this is the first couple times that I canned meat and they're smaller amounts, but they are nice and sealed. So no big issues there. Teriyaki chicken, tomato basil chicken, and ground lamb. And then I have salsas. All of those are salsas. All of these are beans. I have black beans and then I have red beans. And I canned my beans myself using dried beans. So when you buy a can of beans from the store, they're like, what, 89 cents? If you buy dried beans and you can them yourself, they come up to about 23 cents for this pint. So in the long run, that actually adds up and can make a good difference. If you're on a tight budget, if you're trying to live frugally, if you already have all the equipment to can, go ahead and can your own beans. And then down here, I have some marinara. These are some diced tomatoes. I think it has a little bit of garlic. Yes, I see garlic in there. Yep. Diced tomatoes and garlic. This I did 2 years ago. That's all I have left. I have 3 of them left. And then I have this 1 jar of plain white rice, which is honestly was kind of an experiment just to see if I could can rice. So I just did like this 1 jar and it worked out great. It stayed sealed and it looks pretty nice and fluffy. So that was just kind of an experiment, but I'm honestly happy with how it turned out and I might try to do some more. We'll see. And before somebody tells me like, oh, that's too thick, you're gonna kill your family. First off, it's rice. Second off, it's been pressure canned, so there's no botulism in it. And second off, I am a Rebel canner. I use Rebel canning recipes. A lot of times, majority of this is not, but there are a few things. One of the next things that I'm going to show you is also a Rebel canning recipe, meaning it's not FDA approved, but I don't live my life for FDA approval. So I just kind of do what our grandparents did in our old-fashioned recipes. And so that's what some of this is. So yes, and like I said, the rice was an experiment. So, all right, so this is the last cabinet. Back here in the back, this big jar is actually homemade apple cider vinegar, and you can see all the mother that's at the bottom. I made that, and it's just kind of sitting up there to strengthen. That's a grape juice that is overflow because it wouldn't fit on the shelf it's on. This is another one of those Rebel canning recipes. This is canned mac and cheese. And this is actually delicious. Now the cheese in this is not actually like dairy cheese. This is Velveeta cheese. So you can make things like mac and cheese. There are a lot of recipes of things that you can make that are not in a typical canning recipe book. I'm in several groups on Facebook that are Rebel canning groups, and this recipe was in one of them, and I tried it. My husband loved it. It's super easy. If I don't have lunch for him and he needs something, he can grab a jar of mac and cheese and a jar of meatballs and have lunch. Like, that's it. Ready to go on the shelf. Shelf stable, not taking up room in my freezer. Good to go. So I like having recipes like that. I like doing things like that. You may not approve, but that's okay. And then I have a few things up here. These are not like canned. Obviously, this is open. This is what's left of my croutons. And so I made these croutons out of loaves of sourdough. If we don't finish a sourdough loaf fast enough and I feel like it's getting bad, I will turn it into croutons and put it on the shelf. I do have a little jar sealer, like a vacuum sealer that I use. And then I have, for some reason, I have my tea thing up here. And then this is my yeast. Both of those are up here. And this is various soups. And the soups look super gross, okay? I am aware that they look super gross. They just need to be remixed. That's all. If we give this a good shake, heat it up together, it will just look like normal soup. It's just something in the canning process where it just kind of separates. And it looks super gross, but it's not, I promise. And then I have more apple butter. And then I have cinnamon syrup apples. So these were apples that were like getting kind of soft and we didn't really want to eat them as just apples. And so what I did was I made a cinnamon simple syrup and put them in here and just canned them. And that makes a nice snack. Nice snack for my husband at work. Nice little dessert, any of that. And then this is homemade ketchup. If you saw my video about the restaurant sized canned tomato goods that I had, I made this ketchup out of that. I used the restaurant size cans. I used one of tomato paste and one of tomato sauce, and then I added in some sugar, spices, vinegar, all of that, and we made homemade ketchup. And I have one of these in the fridge right now we are eating off of, and it is delicious. I love it. And I wish that I had the recipe. So most of the time when I cook, I don't use recipes. I cook from the heart, not from a recipe. It's a thing that I say, but sometimes it comes back to bite me in the butt because like this ketchup here was so delicious and I don't have a recipe. But even if I did have a recipe, like I don't typically buy restaurant size cans of tomatoes. So I don't know that the recipe would be really great anyway. But it was so good. I gotta figure out how to do it again because I'm thoroughly enjoying that ketchup. And so this is also what we call ketchup. I made this for my toddler because she was going through ketchup like crazy. This is veggie ketchup. And so this has butternut squash, onions, carrots, celery, and garlic actually like blended in it. That's why it's a different color. It's not just tomatoes. It actually has like full vegetables in there. And it's not really a ketchup and it's not really a barbecue, but I would kind of call it somewhere in between. It's not bad, it's just a little different. So we haven't eaten it all yet, but we did eat a good amount of it because I think I had twice so much. And then down here I have ground beef. All of those are ground beef. These are meatballs in broth. And this was my first time making meatballs in broth. And they were a little bit too soft. You can see they're kind of falling apart a little bit, but it still tastes really good. If you just like heat this and eat it over some mashed potatoes, it is perfect. These are dry canned meatballs. You can see them. Those are a little bit more put together. They're holding. I only had 2 jars of those left because my husband ate them all. He loves my meatballs. These are venison meatballs, all of these. That's what we eat instead of beef, as we eat venison. And so typically most everything I have is venison. This says barbecue beef. I don't know why it was beef and not venison, unless I just labeled it wrong. But this is just some shredded barbecue beef. I got some more, there's more meatballs underneath there. This is sausage. This is Italian sausage. I just took 2 sausage patties, threw them in here. They're ready to go, fully cooked. So if we want that for breakfast one day and there's like one person making breakfast, me or my husband or something, like we have that ready to go. These are sloppy joes. Let me get back under here. So this is 4 ounces of a sloppy joe mixture, meat, peppers, onions. I think it has a little bit of diced carrots in there. This is just enough for 1 sandwich. Perfect. Again, for my husband's lunch on the shelf, ready to go. These ones here are just tomato paste. It looks like I didn't label the last few, but there, tomato paste. This actually was the restaurant size can of tomato paste that I did the video on. This is them right there. So I just did smaller jars. You can see they kind of have some air bubbles. I couldn't get them fully debubbled, but even though I was smacking it on the counter, I smacked it so hard I thought that I was actually gonna break the jars, but they're kind of bubbled just because it was thick, but it still works. This is another tomato paste. Tomato paste. Okay, this is diced tomatoes with onion and garlic. I did this in 23, so that was last year. That's kind of, I think that's mostly what I got back here. Yep, tomatoes, onions, and garlic. Yep. This one says marinara. It must have some Italian herbs in here as well. So that's what I have for that. Let me put all that back. And then this whole shelf is grape juice, and they look different. Obviously, this one's a lot lighter than this one. I have white grape juice and I have red grape juice. But the funny thing is if you pressure can white grape juice, it looks like this. And if you water bath can white grape juice, it looks like this. So there are a few of them. Yep, see, that's white grape. That's what I thought. So these are the exact same thing. One's water bath can and one's pressure can, and it just changes the color a little bit. And then like this is a red grape. It's a lot darker. So funny. But yes, so I have a whole shelf of grape juice. Actually I have some more down here. I think this is overflow. That's cranberry. Yes. And then I have cranberry and grape overflow. These are bone broth. I have lots and lots of bone broth. I make my own bone broth. Look at how nice and rich that is. Look how dark that is. I love it. And some of these are venison, some of them are chicken, some of them are mixed. I don't really, this looks like chicken because it's lighter. Actually, this is beef. It must just been a lighter batch, less bones. So I make all my own bone broth. I have that. And then I have that stash of just venison up there. So lots and lots of bone broth. And then I have, this is Bailey's marinara. So again, with the restaurant sized cans, I had, what did I have? 2 cans of just marinara from Bailey's that I bought. And so I literally just canned it in single servings so that it wasn't a huge can. So that's all I have from there. Hold on. I also have these sitting over here that have yet to be put in the cabinet. I did these yesterday. What these are little cocktail wieners that I just simply stuffed in a jar and canned. I found these packages of these wieners for $1 each at Aldi. They were like 50-something% off. And I grabbed 4 or 5 bags of them. And so this is 4 bags canned, I believe it was. And again, just something that's cooked, ready to go, shelf stable. It's got plenty of preservatives. It'll be just fine. And yeah, so I'll have this ready. I gotta label this and make room for it in my cabinet somewhere. I'm not sure. I think I'm almost at max capacity over here. But the funny thing is we eat a lot of it. We go through it quite often. So yeah, there you have it. That's what I have going on right now. As the summer progresses and I have more vegetables from my own garden, I am really hoping to have enough to can yellow squash, zucchini, eggplants, tomatoes, peppers, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm really hoping, especially like the squash and stuff, because I feel like I could really use some of that in the cabinet. I'm pretty good on most of the other stuff, but we eat through it quite often. So yeah, there's my cabinet of canned goods. Let me know in the comments what you think, or if you have any questions about any of the canned goods or recipes or whatever. Let me know something that you want me to show you how to make. I would be more than happy to. And yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for following along. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any of that. I'd be glad to answer. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along for more.